Some songs fade into oblivion. These ones never did. The year 1966 gave us riffs, vocals, and stories that still resonate with us as if they happened yesterday. So today, let's look back at 10 songs that made 1966 absolutely unforgettable. And believe me, you're in for a surprise. Number 10. Rain, The Beatles. John Lennon was tired of singing about love. He wanted something heavier, something that moved like weather. The band was experimenting with tape machines, playing recordings backwards, stretching sounds until they broke. Ringo Starr later pointed to Rain as one of his finest recorded drum performances, not just a heartbeat behind 3 guitars. The song was released as the B-side to Paperback Writer, buried on the flip of a hit. But Rain grew legs. It became the track musicians studied, the moment the Beatles stopped being a pop group and started becoming a laboratory. This track, born from a desire to escape the obvious and built around a drum pattern that still sounds impossible, has carried its strange power across 6 decades. Lennon's slurred vocal and those backwards tapes still invite us to listen closer, while the lyrics remind us that escaping the sun is sometimes the only way to see clearly. Number 9. These Boots Are Made for Walkin', Nancy Sinatra. Lee Hazelwood wrote it for himself. Then he heard Nancy Sinatra sing and knew immediately. This song belonged to her boots, not his. The bass line walked in first, slow and dangerous, like someone entering a room you were supposed to leave. Nancy delivered it with a cool, almost dangerous restraint. Her voice was not pretty. It was a warning. Hazelwood told her to sing it like a teenage girl who knew exactly how much power she had. The song reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. These Boots Are Made for Walkin' turned Nancy Sinatra into an icon of attitude and proved that a threat can be a hit if you deliver it with enough style. That walking bass and Nancy's cold delivery still invite us to move, while the lyrics remind us that leaving is sometimes the strongest thing you can do.
I just found me a brand new box of matches, yeah.
Number 8. Strangers in the Night, Frank Sinatra.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
Frank Sinatra hated it. He called it a piece of shit in the studio, right after giving the song one of the most effortless vocals of his late career. The song began as a melody by German bandleader Bert Kaempfert, then received English lyrics that Sinatra thought were too simple, too sentimental, too everything he was trying to leave behind.
Something in your eyes was so inviting.
But his producer insisted. The orchestra swelled. The doobie-doobie-doo at the end sounded almost tossed off, a small joke that became the most memorable part of the track. The song reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Strangers in the Night became Sinatra's first number 1 in 11 years, and proved that even a legend sometimes needs a song he despises to remind the world he still exists.
Doody-doobie-doo, doo-doo-doo-dee-da-da.
Number 7. Summer in the City, The Lovin Spoonful. John Sebastian was sweating through a New York August. His younger brother Mark had brought him the seed of a song about the heat, the noise, and the chaos of the streets. John heard more than a complaint. He heard a record. He added car horns, a jackhammer, and the sound of a city that never stopped screaming. Steve Boone helped shape the bridge, giving the song that sudden lift from daytime pressure into nighttime release. The song reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Summer in the City became the sound of every hot sidewalk and open fire hydrant, and proved that noise can be music if you arrange it right. Those car horns and that city noise still invite us to sweat, while the lyrics remind us that summer is always louder than we remember. Number 6. God Only Knows, The Beach Boys.
God only knows what I'd be without you.
Brian Wilson wanted to write a love song that felt almost sacred. Tony Asher came back with words that scared him. God only knows what I'd be without you. A line that made them hesitate, because putting God in the title of a pop single still felt risky in 1966. Wilson almost backed away. He kept it. He added French horn, strings, accordions, and voices layered until they sounded like one person crying in a cathedral. Some people around him thought he had gone too far, too soft, too strange. But the song became the emotional center of Pet Sounds, an album that changed music forever. God Only Knows proved that vulnerability is stronger than volume, and that the greatest love song ever does not need to shout. Those layered voices and that fragile melody still invite us to feel, while the lyrics remind us that love is always a question we are afraid to ask. Number 5. For What It's Worth, Buffalo Springfield. Stephen Stills saw young people clashing with police on the Sunset Strip, a local curfew dispute. Kids who wanted to stay out late, cops who said no. He thought he was writing about that night. He wrote something bigger. The title sounded almost like a shrug. For What It's Worth, like he was not sure anyone would care. The band recorded it quickly, with Neil Young's guitar piercing through like a siren. The song reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. For What It's Worth became an anthem for countless protests that followed, and proved that a local story can become universal if the feeling is true. This hit, born from a street fight and built around a throwaway title, has already turned 60, yet it still feels more relevant than ever. That piercing guitar and those cautious words still invite us to listen, while the lyrics remind us that stopping and looking around is sometimes the most revolutionary act.
The man come and take you away. We better stop.
Number 4. Dirty Water, The Standells.
Boston, you're my home.
The Standells were a Los Angeles band singing like Boston was home. Their producer, Ed Cobb, had been through a rough visit to the city, and the dirty Charles River stayed in his head. He turned that grime into a song. The band recorded it in Hollywood, with Larry Tamblin's organ sounding like something dragged from the bottom of a harbor.
Wishing and hoping, that just
The guitars buzzed with garage band attitude. The drums stomped like they were kicking mud. The song reached number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. Dirty Water became the anthem of a city the band barely knew, and later, the victory song Boston fans would hear after Red Sox wins at Fenway Park. That fuzz and Dick Dodd's snarl still invite us to wade, while the lyrics remind us that loving something dirty is sometimes the truest love of all. Number 3. Question Mark and the Mysterians, 96 Tears. A question mark walked into a studio. Literally. Rudy Martinez called himself Question Mark, refused to give away the mystery, and wore sunglasses like daylight was none of his business. He was Mexican-American, raised in Saginaw, Michigan, and he had a riff that sounded like a funeral in a garage. The organ was a cheap Vox Continental, played by Frank Rodriguez. The recording was done in a small studio inside a Bay City home. The band had 5 members and almost no money.
96 years.
The song reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. 96 Tears became one of the first garage rock hits to conquer mainstream America. and proved that a question mark can be an answer if the riff is strong enough. That organ and question mark's wail still invite us to dance, while the lyrics remind us that crying 96 tears is just the beginning of counting.
I'm way down here, wondering how I'm gonna get you.
Number 2. Hey Joe, the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Hey Joe, where you going with that?
Jimi Hendrix was playing backup for other people. He had the guitar, he had the look. He did not have a band that would let him burn. Chaz Chandler, former bassist of the Animals, saw him in a New York club and made a deal. Come to London. Bring that song about the man who shoots his woman.
Yes, sir, I did. I shot him. You know, I thought of that song.
Hendrix recorded Hey Joe in London, his guitar sounding like a question and an answer at the same time. The band was new. The chemistry was instant. The song was a cover nobody expected to become a debut. It reached number 6 in the UK. Hey Joe became the first single of the Jimi Hendrix Experience and proved that a cover can be a declaration of war if you play it like nobody has heard it before. That guitar and Jimi's quiet vocal still invite us to watch, while the lyrics remind us that jealousy is always louder than reason.
Hey Joe, better run on down, better.
Number 1. Time Won't Let Me, The Outsiders. Tom King had been leading the Starfires for years, but the band needed a new identity, new members, a new name, a new sound big enough to escape Cleveland. So the Starfires became The Outsiders, and King, along with Chet Kelly, wrote a song about a love that could not wait forever. The horns made it sound bigger than a garage. The 12-string guitar kept it sharp. The vocals stacked up until they sounded like a choir of kids running out of patience. The song reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Time Won't Let Me became the hit that defined the Outsiders and proved that patience is a virtue only for people who are not in love. Those horns and Sonny Geraci's pleading voice still invite us to wait, while the lyrics remind us that time is the only enemy that never loses. And that is what made 1966 so impossible to forget. It was not just one sound. It was garage bands, heartbreak, strange organs, summer streets, protest songs, love songs, and voices that still feel like they are coming through an old radio in the next room. These songs did not just survive because they were famous. They survived because people lived inside them, and memories that somehow still know every word. Now tell us in the comments, which 1966 song did we still miss? And which one takes you back the fastest? If this music still means something to you, hit like, subscribe, and stay with us, because the past is not gone. Sometimes it is just waiting for the needle to drop again.